It's game over, guys, because tonight we're living through two different bombshells that are colliding at once. So on the one side of the Atlantic, furious voters are literally storming migrant hotels, shouting everyone out as betrayed citizens have taken matters into their own hands. And here in America, the so-called liberal Ninth Circuit just detonated a legal earthquake that the Democrats, media elites, and open border activists has them absolutely panicked. Now, this ain't just another headline, folks. This is the beginning of the end of the corrupt system that gave our country away. Free hotel rooms for illegals in Britain, anchor babies, and anchor baby loopholes here in America. Game over, guys. But here's the part that they really don't want you to know. The same court that liberals thought was going to protect them, just handed President Donald J. Trump the legal ammunition to finally take a sledgehammer to the birthright citizenship. That's right, guys. The very foundation of the anchor baby scam is collapsing, and the ripple effects, they could change immigration in America forever. Now, don't think that what's happening in the UK won't happen here. I mean, the protests, the fury, the betrayals, all of it is coming to a breaking point right now. So what happens when silent citizens are told to shut up while illegals are getting perks that you and me are paying for? Well, you're about to see, because in a couple minutes, we're going to be connecting the dots. I'm going to show you how voters are revolting in hotels overseas, ties directly to President Trump's biggest opportunity to rewrite American immigration law, and why the establishment is terrified that you're watching the show right now. All right, guys, August 26th, 2025. Remember the date, folks, because we're living through a moment that will be remembered in the history books. Donald J. Trump, he's back in the White House. President Joe Biden, long gone. What's unfolding right now is nothing short of a dual earthquake shaking the entire Western world. Now, on one side, voters across the Atlantic, they're storming into migrant hotels, demanding everyone out as betrayed citizens rise up to take back their own communities. But on the other side, here in America, the most liberal court in the nation just detonated a legal bombshell that could spell the end of the so-called birthright citizenship once and for all. Now, two battles, one fight. The people versus the establishment, and today the establishment is losing. By the way, let me know, drop a quick veto in the comment down below if you think that the birthright citizenship law should be eliminated. But I want to go ahead and start with what just happened inside these hotels. The Britannia Hotel in the UK used to be a 4-star getaway for paying tourists, but today that particular hotel is a taxpayer-funded migrant hub. Families who once saved all year for a vacation or a holiday, whatever you tend to call it, they're now watching as illegal immigrants lounge in rooms that they could never afford. They're eating food that they didn't pay for, and they're taking lessons, even enjoying perks while the locals foot the bill. And so now, fed up citizens aren't just complaining. They're walking in, they're confronting, and they're demanding everyone out. Guys, you see, the government tried to tell the people that mass migration is unstoppable, that it's because of climate change or because it's wars overseas or all sorts of crises that nobody saw coming, right? But the voters know the truth. Voters are smarter than they think we are, okay? And so if leaders actually wanted to step it up, they could, but instead they decided to roll out the red carpet paid for by the same citizens who are now being silenced for daring to object to them. So this is why the betrayal cut so deep, because when governments refuse to act, the people are left with only one choice: to act themselves. And this is exactly what we're seeing. And here's the kicker, guys. What's happened in Britain isn't isolated. This is the spark of something much bigger, a wave of revolts against elites who would rather cater to outsiders than to protect their own citizens. Now, if you think that storming hotels sounds extreme, wait until you hear what's happening to citizens who don't even storm anything. Just post the wrong opinion online and you could be thrown in jail. Did you guys hear anything about that? Oh, we're going to talk about that. So this takes us right into the next chapter of the story. Now, let's be honest. Your insurance company is not your friend. They win when you pay more and get less. This is why I partner with Chapter, because they level the playing field. When people call, they quickly realize, wait a second, I don't have to let the insurance company win anymore. That's right, guys. So ask yourself right now, whose side do you want to be on? Most people have already chosen, and they're calling the number on the bottom of your screen right now, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. This is a completely free call for members of my community. So I want to talk about the other battle that's happening in the UK right now, because it's not just about the hotels, it's about the crackdown on speech itself. Now, ordinary citizens, the very people who are funding these migrant hotels, they can't even post their frustration online without risking jail time, believe it or not. Think about that. guys. In Britain today, you can be locked up for a joke, for a comment, for something as small as saying like, you could say something like bacon if it offends the wrong crowd. Like they could throw you in jail, guys. Meanwhile, migrants who call for violence, who march the streets waving Hamas and Hezbollah flags, they can walk free. Does that sound fair to you? This is what betrayal looks like. Migrants in luxury taxpayer hotels, taxpayers in handcuffs. That's the new Britain. And this is exactly why voters are done waiting for politicians to step up. They're taking the fight into their own hands. So here's what really makes this even worse than that, believe it or not. It's not just Britain. It's all across Europe. Look at France. Migrants pass through by the tens of thousands, but they don't stay there. Why? Because the benefits aren't as generous. In Paris, they camp outside City Hall and they beg for housing. There's no luxury hotels. There's no free perks. This is why they keep moving straight to Britain, because this is where the perks are endless. And so, guys, that is the warning for us here in America, okay? Once you turn migration into a benefit system, once you dangle some luxury accommodations in front of the world, it's not going to stop. It's kind of like, they tell you don't feed the bears, don't feed the wild animals, because they're going to keep coming and they're going to tell their friends. This whole thing will accelerate. Europe is the test case. Britain is the cautionary tale. And unless leaders slam the brakes, we know exactly how this movie is going to end. And so now here's where it gets wild, super wild. While Europe collapses under the weight of migrant hotels, the United States just saw a court ruling that could change the entire game on citizenship. This is a ruling that was so shocking. It came from the one court everyone thought would protect the left. And yet, it handed Donald J. Trump the most powerful legal weapon he's ever had. So let's go ahead and bring it all back home, okay? Because while voters are storming hotels in Britain, here in America, the ground just shifted under our feet. So the case, Roberto Manata. You may have heard of him. Born in New York City in 1950, 47 years, 70 years, okay? I said 47 years. For 70 years, guys, the United States government treated him like a citizen. They did. They gave him passports. He lived here. He worked here. Never once questioned. Then, all of a sudden, in 2018, everything changed. Turns out his father wasn't some diplomat's assistant. He was an attaché with full diplomatic immunity. And under the law, that made all the difference. Children of consuls, they can be U.S. citizens. Children of attachés, nope, because they're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Now, here's the shocker. The Ninth Circuit of Appeals, yes, the same court known as the Ninth Circus, the one that liberals always run to, just ruled that Manata was never a citizen at birth. Wow. They just stripped away 70 years of assumptions in one fatal ruling. Now, think about that, guys. Like, the most liberal court in the city, well, actually, the most liberal court in the country just admitted what President Trump's been saying for years. Being born here is not enough. You also have to be under U.S. jurisdiction. And that, my friends, this is the crack in the wall that could bring the entire birthright citizenship scam trembling down. So I want to break it down for you guys. The 14th Amendment, it doesn't say born here equals citizen. It doesn't say that. A lot of people think it does, but that's the lie. That is the lie that the media has been pushing for decades. It actually says born and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Both conditions, not whichever one you feel is most convenient, okay? Both. And so this is why children of diplomats don't qualify. This is why enemy soldiers don't qualify. And here's the kicker. Illegal migrants, they're under territorial jurisdiction. They have to follow our laws, but not political jurisdiction. They still owe allegiance to a foreign nation. So that distinction right there changes everything. It changes the game. So I want to go ahead and spell it out for you guys. If the Ninth Circuit agrees that being born here is not enough, then the entire open borders narrative just collapsed. This wasn't some conservative court, guys. This wasn't a Trump-appointed judge. This was the left's own fortress admitting that the Constitution doesn't say what they always claimed it said. They blew up their own ship. And so if the Ninth Court or if the Ninth Circuit is saying this, imagine what the Supreme Court will do with Trump back in the White House. But of course, I'm just getting started, guys, because the so-called anchor baby system, the one that's been accused or really abused for decades, it was built on nothing but a flimsy footnote. And now that President Trump has the ruling in his arsenal, it's about to get obliterated, okay? So stick with me, guys, because this next part that I want to share with you guys, it is going to blow your mind. So here's where it gets absolutely explosive, because this entire system of so-called birthright citizenship, this anchor baby pipeline, it wasn't built on solid law. It was built on a freaking footnote, guys. I'm not kidding. Back in 1982, Supreme Court Justice William Brennan, one of the most liberal zealots to ever sit on the bench, he slipped in a footnote during a case. And that little scribble, little bit of scribble with zero legal precedent even behind it. This is exactly what gave birth to the anchor baby scam that we've been living under ever since. So that little footnote, it became the excuse for automatic citizenship. No debate, no precedent, just one activist judge's opinion twisted into law by bureaucrats and politicians who wanted cheap labor, globalist votes, and open borders. And now the Ninth Circuit just ripped that illusion apart. They ruled in plain English that you must be under U.S. jurisdiction to gain citizenship. So this means millions who were told, congratulations, your child is automatically a citizen, could now face the truth. That was never what the Constitution said. So think about the ripple effects, guys. Think about this, okay? Generations of policy gone. Entire industries built on exploiting that loophole. It's collapsing. The anchor baby system it's hanging by a thread. And President Trump now has the scissors in his hand. So here's where it all ties together. Those migrant hotels in Britain, that is the same betrayal in a different disguise, guys. Okay, citizens forced to pay for outsiders, elites punishing their own people while rewarding anyone who breaks the law to get in here. In Britain, voters had enough of that. And I'm afraid that we may be on the cusp of seeing something like that right here in America. In Britain, voters had enough. They walked into these hotels and they shouted everyone out. In America, this court ruling, it gives Trump the legal megaphone to say enough is enough. Two sides of the same coin here, guys. Europe and their revolt that's happening in the streets, America's revolts in the courts, and the establishment is terrified because once the people realize that they've been lied to for decades, once they understand the anchor baby scam was never constitutional, there's no going back from that. So here's the real question. What will Trump do next? Because with this precedent in his back pocket, he actually has the chance to push the biggest immigration reform in modern history. And the establishment knows it. That is why they're panicking. So stick around, guys, because this next part, this is all about Trump's next move and why this time it really is game over. So I want to talk about what comes next because sure, this Ninth Circuit made this impressive historic ruling, but this isn't just a court ruling. It's not just a protest overseas. This is clearly a turning point. President Donald J. Trump now has the ammunition that he's been waiting for. With the Ninth Circuit confirming that being born here is not enough, the path is wide open for the Supreme Court to finally end automatic birthright citizenship once and for all. This means no more anchor baby loopholes, no more automatic perks for breaking our laws. This could be the single biggest immigration reform in American history. Now ask yourself, who else but Trump would have the guts to push this through? Can you name anyone? I mean, the Democrats aren't going to touch it. The media, they're going to lie about it. The establishment will do everything they can to try and block this thing. But Trump, he's already shown that he's going to fight this fight. And now he has the law on his side. So here's the kicker. What we're seeing here in Britain today, this could very well be America tomorrow. Really, voters are storming hotels. Citizens are revolting against the systems that betrayed them. Governments that punish them for speaking the truth. I mean, if the people can't be heard through free speech, if they can't be heard at the ballot box, they're going to make themselves heard in the streets. Mark my words. It's game over, guys, for the establishment. In Europe, it's hotels being stormed. In America, it's courts dropping bombs on the anchor baby scam. And the elites, they know that the walls are closing in. So here's a question for you. What happens next? Do you think Trump is going to take this ruling straight to the Supreme Court and finally finish the job? Do you think citizens here in America are going to rise up the way that the voters did in Britain? Or will the establishment double down, trying to silence the people even more? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, because this conversation isn't over. If you appreciate the news updates, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, folks. Oh, and listen, YouTube thinks you're really going to like the next video that just popped up on your screen. They picked it just for you, and I think they're right. Click it now, keep the momentum going, and I'll see you guys on the other side.